I'm Corey. Welcome back to the Vibrant Life Show here in Cloud Dojo, your spot for inspiration on living a healthy, happy, and vibrant life. So I know for a lot of parents, the next few weeks are going to be pretty crazy. So I wanted to offer my tips on how to stay healthy and grounded and have some fun with our families this holiday season. Anything like me, you might get carried away with all the opportunities this time of year. The fun activities, the family events, the parties, all the things your kids want to do, the stuff with friends. It just can get quite overwhelming. And my tendency is to just want to let it happen, and then we kind of deal with the consequences later and we start feeling really over full, or we lose sleep, we get sick, that kind of thing. Or everybody's just grouchy because we're too stressed out. So I have some ideas on how to avoid that, some things that our family does this time of year, and I wanted to share those with you. So number one is, what are your priorities? I really take time regularly these days, but especially when I'm about to ramp up into a busy season, to stop and think, what are my priorities? What actually really matters most? And this time of year especially, there's so much family stuff going on that I sit and I do this with our family, with my kids and with their dad, and we talk about what do we all really want out of the next few weeks, what's actually important to us. For us, that is chill time together as a family is actually the most important thing. Second, for the kids, is definitely some fun activities, but surprisingly, they didn't just say all the things that they wanted to do. It was like, I want to have fun experiences throughout this season. They had a few nostalgic things that they wanted to make sure happened. And then the rest of it is just they want a good balance of activities and chill time together. So same for me. I don't want to be overwhelmed. I really want time together with the family. I want the kids to have fun. I also want to spend some time with my friends. There's some activities that I want to do with them, but I don't want to be over full in my schedule. So some priorities for me are health, well-being, sleep, and feeling calm. So with those priorities in mind, I can filter everything else and just have to practice saying no. All right, so now I'm going to go through the 3 things that I make sure happen to support these priorities. Number 1 is breathing. So one thing that I think about when prioritizing wellness is, what can I go without the least amount of time? And breathing is definitely one of those things. But of course, we can go for a long time with shallow breathing, stressed out breathing, just not breathing fully. And so this time of year is a great time to reassess your breathing habits. I know it sounds crazy, but we need that kind of unconventional advice these days, right? We've heard a lot of the same things, but paying attention to how well am I breathing is actually something that I don't think we do enough. So one is, I think about my tongue posture. This is something you can definitely research, tongue posture, and learn all about it and why humans these days have kind of gotten lazy tongues and lazy jaws. But you can just bring that back with simple tongue posture, which just means the tip of your tongue goes right behind your front teeth, and then the rest of your tongue just lays back along the roof of your mouth. And if you're doing that anytime that you're not talking, and you just take in deep breaths through your nose with proper tongue posture, you get breaths that are much more saturated with oxygen. So I'll demonstrate. So this is bad tongue posture. And I don't know if you can see a difference, but then this is good tongue posture. I breathe so much better with a good tongue posture. So just something to think about. The second part of breathing is at night. We kind of forget that there's a lot of bad habits we can develop at night, especially if throughout the day we haven't been breathing well. So, thinking about making sure that you lie down and have some intention when you're going to sleep, even doing a little meditation before you go to sleep, thinking about your gratitudes, and then just noticing your breath. Get your tongue in that right posture and breathe in deeply through your nose. If you get a little stuffy at night, like I do, just leaning back against a pillow for a little bit and just kind of being a little more upright can help get your body used to that. Good, clear breathing as you go to sleep. And then also, of course, there are different things like breathe right strips or mouth tape, or you can get a chin strap to make sure your mouth stays closed so that you remember that you're doing your nasal breathing. It's really important to do nasal breathing as well, because because your nose has a filter. So that is really important to be breathing through your filter as much as possible. So that brings me to our third tip, which is the sleep priority. So for me, sleep is just not easy. It's something that I've really struggled with. I got poor sleep habits. Just as a kid, I got into the habit of staying up really late and avoiding going to sleep because I was kind of avoiding my own feelings and fears about sleeping. And it was just like a recipe for disaster that I've been dealing with and working through unwinding in my adulthood. So if anyone else out there is dealing with some trouble keeping your sleep routines, here's a few things that I've been doing that have helped. One is I really keep a clear structure of I just don't go out to events that are late at night because it really takes time for me to wind down. And so I make sure that even if there's a fun event with some friends in the evening, I'll go to the early half and people know I'm like the pumpkin. I just have to go home at a certain hour and start my sleep routine. And it really honestly has helped me so much. When I get good sleep, I'm so much more aware with the people that I care about, with my friends. So it's way better for me to spend 1 hour with them being able to be fully present than stay out for 2 or 3 hours and then be a groggy person in my life. So I need that regular bedtime. And then secondly, when I can't sleep, when I'm lying in bed and I'm having trouble sleeping, I just have a rule. It's better to lie here and do nothing. It's better for my body to just lie here and maybe, have some trouble tossing and turning, feeling anxious, whatever it is, but to do it in the dark, not doing anything else, that's better for my body than getting up and like getting something done or trying to read or trying to, God forbid, watch something to get myself to be more relaxed and go to sleep. So as much as I can, and this is not easy and I definitely am not 100% on it, but as much as I can when I'm having trouble sleeping, I just make myself stay there, and I go through sometimes a cycle of lying there and trying to follow my breathing, sitting up and trying to follow my breathing, doing some light stretches, counting my breaths, and I just do that. And even if that's all I do all night and I never actually sleep, I've done the next best thing for my body. So I recommend that, especially this time of year when there's so much else to pull us away from our good health and well-being, prioritizing sleep and just making it a non-negotiable. All right, the last thing is sticking with a few routines. There are so many routines, they're just gonna have to go out the window this time of year. I mean, for one thing, the kids are gonna be out of school for a good chunk of time. So there are a couple things that I recommend about routines. One is we wanna have different routines for different things that we're going through in life. So we have, a different schedule for when the kids are out of school. It's a lot more flexible because sometimes there's different activities that we're going to go do, but in general, there's sort of a routine that we have on the days when the kids are not in school versus on school days versus on weekends. That's kind of a different thing, but there's like a weekday when we would normally be having school. What do we do when the kids are out of school? That really helps my kids because otherwise it can just kind of get crazy with they're just not in their normal routine. They don't know what to expect. And so they just don't quite act how I need them to act for my sanity. And they kind of get at each other too. So it's just better if we all know, okay, we're at least going to wake up, do a couple things in our routine. And then there's going to be this chunk of time for free play. And then there's going to be a chunk of time for playing together. And, and just kind of like breaking it up by mealtime and snack time. A little bit of that goes a long way, I've found. And then the other piece of routines is knowing that, of course, some of my routines are just not going to be able to happen how I'm used to them happening because of this special time of year. But thinking about what are those routines that are really my priorities, again, back to number one, those priorities that I'm just going to make sure that we keep or that I keep no matter what. So thinking about, there are a few parts of my morning that I want to make sure I always do. So there are just a few things in my day that I know are non-negotiable, and then the same for the kids. But I also know that this time of year is just kind of crazy, and so I have to let a lot of it go. That's why coming back to number one, those priorities, those routines that I really don't want to let go even this time of year, like my meditation is an example of that. I really want to keep that in my routine even if a lot of stuff has to change and be flexible this time of year. So just thinking, what are those for me? Maybe asking your kids, what are those for you that are really important priorities that we need to make sure happen every day, regardless of what else is going on. All right, everyone, those are my ideas for how to stay healthy and grounded and more calm this holiday season. I hope you found some inspiration. If you're looking for more inspiration on how to live a healthy, happy, and vibrant life, go ahead and subscribe using the link below. And with all that being said, I'll see you next time in Cloud Dojo. Bye.